Good morning and welcome to Tarot Time. And if you're watching it a video, welcome. We're going to dive into the energies of the week ahead, and things are definitely ramping up. Maybe you guys feel it. So, what we do in Tarot Time, we talk a little bit about what's going on in the world. We do our thing with the tarot. I do a meditation card for the week, a 3 card spread. I've got other divination tools. And at the end, we do an energetic transmission with the master teacher. So I do a quick guided process where spirit, my guides, work with me through me to help to raise our frequencies and energies and to step into these higher energies. So the energies are really ramping up this week, and depending on what comes through for tarot time, that's will be the theme of the transmission we do at the end. So anyway, I'm gonna say a few quick hellos and get going. So we have hello Bubble, Josh's Universe, and hello Laura of Let's Spirit Guide. Hey Scotty Boy, hi Coyote Moon, Lily, or Lil Witchy One, Lil Witchy One. Hi, and hi, Victor of Truth Wave. And hi Shivu, and all right. I'm just giving the live people a chance to get their notifications. That's why I'm going over the comments. If you're waiting patiently for me to begin, if you're watching the video. And wow, so we have some interesting comments. Hey, Laura. Wow. All right. I know I'm a few minutes late. Hi, Roseanne. You were the first comment today. Hello, Karen. There's some interesting comments from Shivu. So hi to you also if I missed you earlier. All right. So let's see. Mercury just came out of retrograde. So we can turn the snooze button on Mercury off. It's time to wake up if you've been hiding for the last 3 weeks. I can't say I blame you, but life does go on. And Venus is about, I think today Venus transitions from Scorpio into Sagittarius, and in about a week to 10 days or so, Mercury will catch up and come into Sagittarius. And Sagittarius moves. Scorpio tends to go into the depths, tends to be, uncovering deep truths about our own origins, about transmutation and stuff like that. But when these inner planets start to come into Sagittarius, we can kind of take whatever knowledge or whatever we've learned or whatever we've assimilated from the depths and turn that into movement and action. So that's sort of a general theme. Now, we're starting a new month tomorrow. I'm going to do the psychic forecast for December live at 7 tomorrow evening on December the 1st. And then perhaps Tuesday I'll do a full moon forecast, because the full moon coming up in Gemini, right? Full moon in Gemini is going to be on Thursday. And I have my ephemeris because I haven't had a chance to do anything this morning, but I can tell you the exact degrees of the coming full moon. 13 degrees Gemini, very transformative energy, and there's a lot of aspects leading up to it. So we'll have a lot to talk about. We'll have a lot to talk about in December. And we also have very active sunspots starting to rotate back into view, which could lead to more solar flares, more coronal mass ejections, more auroras. But again, another period where we have to be a little bit mindful that if a solar flare is powerful enough or produces a powerful enough coronal mass ejection, it could interrupt the flow of life here on Earth in the form of satellites going out or power grids going out. So it's a good idea to make sure you've got some extra supplies just in case. We'll be okay, but just in case. I'm a big believer, prepare for that disaster that'll never happen, that kind of a thing. So prepare for the worst, hope for the best. But we're winding down on solar cycle 25, or we're in the descending phase, although not everybody's calling it that. But I keep an eye on the sun, not literally. Like, I'm not literally staring at the sun, but I keep an eye on it through different presenters on YouTube, like Ben Davidson's channel. What's the lady's name? She's very good. Is it Tabitha something or but she does some updates on space weather and what's going on in the sun. And of course, Stefan Byrne. We can't leave the man out. And there's a couple of others. And yeah, this should be interesting. So I kind of look at the trend. I see like there's more trans-equatorial coronal holes developing. I see more pops near the poles. And to me, that feels like the poles have flipped on the sun. And that means that we're starting to go into the descending phase of solar maximum, just beginning. But then we have 3i Atlas. Then we have R2 Swan, that they kind of did this thing around the Earth where they were sort of flanking on each side. What do they call it? That's like some kind of an airplane maneuver. I forgot the name of it, where they kind of flank around. Like if this was an alien attack, they'd be in position to fire, basically. It's not, but if it was. But the point being is that these are energetic bodies. R2 Swan's a comet that has a dusty coma plasma in the tail. And they also had images of R2 Swan also being green, almost like a mini me to the interstellar object. And it developed a sunward facing tail, at least on some of the images. That's very rare for a comet. I mean, that happened with 3i Atlas. That's an interstellar traveler or something, but it's conscious, it's energetic, it's conscious, and to me, it's heralding in a lot of changes. And we often see, like, everything's connected. We often see phenomena in the sky, changes in the earth, and you're probably feeling changes in your bodies, changes in your thought processes, your emotions, because everything's ramping up. So we're going to dive into that in a minute. Let me just see what you guys have to say before I jump on in. So hello, Felicia, welcome. Hello, Lakeside Laura and Misha, back from overseas and not like. Sorry that you're not liking it back here in the States. All right, so let's do our meditation card. Hi, Chloe's crystals. Hey, hello, Melissa. All right. And what do you guys want to talk about? King, yeah, prayers for King, for Felicia's King. He'll be fine. Yeah, so what else there to talk about? I've been really dove into the ephemeris a lot this morning. I was busy with a lot of things. It's actually snowing out, and then Tuesday we're expecting probably here maybe about 4 or 5 inches in the Catskills. So our first snow of the year. Midwest had a big snowstorm, and we had, of course, a couple of weeks ago, we had the big solar flares, right? We had the solar flares producing coronal mass ejection. So the flares themselves are photonic, and all 4 of the big flares downloaded its energy, its photonic energy, onto Africa. Then there's a big volcano in Libya, of 50,000 years dormancy of a volcano woke up. And this energy from the sun, the earth and the sun, they're intimately connected. The earth is dancing around the sun, like circles every year. They're connected. They're intimately connected energetically. And as physics and science gets more advanced, they're going to start to see more signs of that through science, how they're really very, very connected. So the sun downloads a lot of energy onto the earth absorbs it, intensifies things. So that was 4 in a row, all X-class flares that just aligned the way where the energy hit Africa. And what happens, there's like radio blackouts and things that happen. So the solar flares, they move at the speed of light. So that's about 8 minutes. So when there's a solar flare, that happened 8 minutes ago. But the coronal mass ejection is the kind of the plasma wave that develops from that flare. And that can take anywhere from, roughly 14 or 15 hours to 2.5 or 3 days, depending on the speed and magnitude of it. And that's what gives us the auroras. If the magnetic orientation is correct and it's hitting at the right angles and everything, we get the auroras from that. And that's where we get a lot of the hits with the satellites and the power grids and stuff like that. So anyway, a little bit of space weather for you. So probably the next week to 10 days, heightened solar activity. I think as we go into January, I think some of these sunspots will survive and we have more planetary alignments and things that will probably get some activity. Then it should start to get into the descending phase after that. But even during the descending phase, you can have some very sizable flares and coronal mass ejection. So anyway, the sun's alive, the Earth's dancing around the sun. They're forming the synergy, the comets with their electromagnetic influencers influence the sun, the Earth, and the interplanetary connection, and that can enhance the solar activity and enhance the activity in the Earth. Everything's connected, and at the end of the day, it's all connected to consciousness, and it all affects consciousness. So all this activity and energy affects the Earth. It affects our energetic fields. It affects the consciousness of the Earth and our collective consciousness. And we're changing, and it's a spiritual upgrade, and we're really in the heart of it. We've been preparing for years here on the Medium channel for this time that's happening now, that it's really happening. And the changes in the world are obviously they're happening already, but they're going to ramp up and happen in different ways. So it's going to be a very interesting next several years, and we're preparing. We are doing the work to raise the vibration, because the higher the vibrations, the more spiritually connected we are as a collective, the smoother the necessary transition that can be very difficult and traumatic and changeable, the smoother that'll happen, and the more people that will ascend, and the more positively the changes will happen here on the Earth. So we don't necessarily have to go through doom and gloom and a lot of shock and utter ruin in order to rise up out of the ashes. We can transition much more fluidly and much more gracefully into these new energies, but we have to let things go. We have to be more fluid and pliable as a collective, and it starts with the individual. So that's our sermon for the day. What do you guys have to say? A lot about the horses. Yes, our new father, Monica, will marry. I don't know what you're asking, but if you're new on Tarot Time, we do we're not doing like readings and for each other. We're doing a psychic forecast for the planet that could tap into your life also for the coming week. So on that note, let's do our meditation card. And it's a bot. Okay, gotcha. Well, if that's true and it starts to get nasty, we know what to do about it. Hello, Jackie. Welcome. And the mayor's ready for the next chapter, so let's say hi to you guys. And Felicia and Horse King. So we've been talking about that also. So is there equine disease or equine? It's just silliness. Okay. All right, buried under about 8 inches of snow. So where do we have 8 inches of snow in Michigan? Yeah. So we're getting the next storms due to hit us in the Catskill Mountains of New York. Be gone, bots. Yeah, we don't need bots here. Oh, I see what's going on. Same question over and over and over and over again. Well, yeah, it's December, well, tomorrow's December. We have indications, as we've been talking about, and a lot of weather people have also been talking about. All the ingredients for a real winter. Last year was pretty close to what we used to call a normal winter, and amidst all the global warming and the high CO2 levels on the planet, something funny's happening, and we're seeing more Antarctic ice. We're seeing signs that the Earth may have peaked and may be beginning its cooling trend. And people haven't done a whole lot different, which just goes to show you that the sun and the earth are in this cosmic dance. They're connected. They're not separate. It's only through physical separation, but they're not energetically separate. Climate is driven by the sun. Yet humans move the needle a little bit here and there. So a lot of industrialization. We had a spike of global warming that probably would have been above the natural in a very short period of time, but the sun's going to win out. The greater climate trends are going to win out over anything that humans can do to this planet, basically. I mean, yeah, it's a good idea to do smart things for the environment, obviously, to cut down on pollution, to cut down, on things like methane and CO2 emission and stuff like that. That's a smart thing to do. What's not a smart thing to do is to try to cool down the sun, because that's only going to cause an ice age in the next 50 to 100 years. If anybody from the government is watching, that's not smart to do that. Plus all the chemicals from aerosol injection from airplanes is not healthy for our world. Stop doing that. But anyway, let's do our meditation card. Yeah. So no personal readings. That's not what this is about. Thank you, Shivu, for that. Although, you guys, I've been getting a few of those types of requests, and we should at some point do like an evening where we or a day where we do personal readings also. That might not be a bad idea. We do our mediumship night, and the next one will be around the winter solstice. I don't have a date for that yet, but we do an hour of just getting messages from the spirit world, and usually anywhere from 50 to 100 people come on live for that, and maybe about a dozen of them will get readings or messages from the other side. But yeah, do a day of just doing readings. That might be fun, something different. All right, so let's do our meditation card. Back to tarot, or starting with tarot, or whatever. Wichita is a very artistic. I've never been to Wichita. I used to live near Oklahoma City. That's about the closest to Wichita I've been. That I'm always saying, love me. Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a while ago. Yeah, and yeah, I'll think about that, because I've got to think about the logistics of it. That if like a lot of people come on, then it's almost like doing random readings, and of course we could prioritize people that do super stickers or super things, which is basically donations. I'll think on that. But anyway, back to our meditation card. Let me just clear my mind. I have a feeling December I'm just going to be jammed up. That might be something for the new year. But anyways, right. Clearing my mind. All right, so we got for a meditation card, we got this is a nice card, the King of Pentacles. kings tend to be, especially in the suit of pentacles, tend to be a grounding influence, which is maybe something that we need. So perhaps in our meditation work this week, focus on grounding, personal planetary grounding. But meditation with tarot cards, the way I recommend is you get into a meditative state. Of course, it's a meditation, so relaxing shoulders, chin, and forehead, and softening your breath, or doing a little bit of long, deep breathing, then softening your breath is a good way to sink into a meditative state. Relaxing the shoulders, chin, and forehead allows the whole body to relax. These are the three principal tension points in most people, anyway. And I found that to be an effective way to go, quickly into a fairly deep meditative state, and then just gauge what you feel. Now, this is the Hanson Roberts deck. You can pull your own King of Pentacles if you want to work with this energy this week. So you just, get relaxed, gauge what you're feeling. Then in your mind, you step into the card, and without thinking, gauge what you're feeling, because you step into a new energy, a new reality, a new universe, however you want to put that. And then once you're inside, just, who is this King of Pentacles? This might be a spirit guide or an ascended master or an extraterrestrial being or somebody that's helping you. And, this is just the doorway. So you'll come into a whole different reality, different energy, different scene. You're only seeing the doorway. You're not seeing the whole scene. And, you may hear sound, you may smell or taste things, but really feel the energies, and as you step in, feel the energies, and what messages are you getting from your guides about your life, about the world, or stuff like that. Kings is about air, or about intellect, about mind, about intelligence. Pentacles about the earth and grounding, and you may get some good ideas of how to be more stable in your life. How to have greater security, maybe some good money ideas, because pentacles often represent money in the tarot also. And I think one of the messages is this is a good time to really think about being secure and stable as the earth is changing. And if that means having supplies and stocking up in case there's a long-term power outage or something like that, definitely do it. That means adding to your current income or changing jobs in a way that will make you more stable. Stability isn't just about money, it's about energy and emotions also. And as I said, that spirit like that, all of a sudden my guides perked up. Yes, that's basically what we're trying to tell you. I'm starting to channel a little bit right now. That when you're able to step into this energy of feeling, the King of Pentacles, very strong in their frame, right? Comfortable in their own skin, confident, knowing that no matter what life throws at them, they're going to be okay. And really owning that energy. I think that's like the stability that they're trying to show, like to develop that through your meditation and to allow your guide, your higher self to guide you in that process of what are you going to do to feel, everything is safe and everything's confident, like that you're confident that everything's safe. One of the things that I do is I do mediumship, and I learn through the process of making the connections that no matter what happens in this life, in this body, I'm going to be okay, because one day I'm going to leave this body and I'm going to go into the next world. And no matter what, I'm going to be okay. And I'm very confident about that. And because I am, my life tends to take on a more grounded, what's the trajectory, that there's some drama, there's some ups and downs. I mean, I'm human and I'm an emotional person, but owning that energy helps to create more stability in my outer world also. So that's really the key. So I feel the same. This is the time to really step into that energy where you can strengthen your energetic fields, feel more protected, because the one that created us will take care of us. Even if it doesn't always seem that way, in our physical lives, we get things ripped out from under us. We experience pain, heartache, and all that stuff. So sometimes we lose that perspective that we're still being taken care of, and we're moving through this earth experience in order to learn and grow and to process new information to ascend to higher and higher levels. And it's not always going to be easy, but we're always going to be taken care of. So I think that that's really the message with this card. So let's do a 3-card spread. And what do you guys have to say? Gosh, so you're having problems with the chat. Well, Mercury is not moving right now, so 6 times a year we go into Mercury stations. Mercury's the planet of movement, so when the planet of movement's not moving, it can be a bit of a problem energetically. On one hand, it stays very fixed in one area for a longer period of time. Again, the Mercury stations are right when Mercury's going retrograde, and then again right when Mercury's going direct. So Mercury stands still from our perspective on Earth, and as that happens, it's kind of has like an energetic effect in really one area until it starts to move again. I mean, it's always moving, but from our perspective on Earth, it's not. So in any event, all right. So what else are we saying? So King of Pentacles, male. So Felicia's getting some more meaning. Male bloodline, ancestry, energy, grounding, receiving, liver meridian. That's great information. Yeah. And Mary's saying there would be steps before I could do that. The grass is not always green, not always on the other side, but the work-life balance is better. Retirement, the pension. Not here. That would be nice. I'm 67 and still working, so I hear you. All right. So let's do a 3-card spread. That's next on the list. Grab some tea. So I'm black tea today. Are you coffee, tea, or caffeine free? Also, King of Pentacles can also be a partner for someone. A good one, yeah. That this is true. And Pentacles, that could be an earth sign or somebody with those qualities, because Pentacles is earth. Yeah. Some major technical difficulties. Those are more common during the Mercury retrograde. Absolutely. How to make some weak coffee. Yeah, I like coffee strong personally. Black coffee, yeah. Although I don't drink coffee every day. Green tea, water, green tea, water. That's a little healthier. Green tea is very healthy. It's a healthier way of taking caffeine, right? Yes, have a sense of humor, yeah. Mimosa. What Bloody Mary? How about mimosas? Or back in the day, you'll have like the joint or the bong by the bed. Oh, it's Sunday morning. This is how I'm gonna wake up. Although if I did that, you wouldn't see me till next Wednesday. But that's another story. Kind of a lightweight here when it comes to things. I don't drink at all, but when it comes to weed and stuff, I'm pretty much the lightweight, the person. One toke, I'm fine for the next 2 weeks. All right. So anyway, 3-card spread. This has happened to the energies of the week. It's funny. I'm seeing horses. I know you guys have been talking about Felicia's horse and hopefully King, right? Hopefully he's well. I haven't been able to keep up with all your comments, but it could be a good sign that he's being taken care of. And of course, as a symbol, horses are about empowerment and freedom. So this is, I think, a week to really work on and focus that. Good week to focus on grounding. When we have a lot of solar activity, it's easy to get very ungrounded. We had a lull last week. It was relatively very quiet. We had a coronal hole stream hitting the earth, but it was a minor one. It wasn't a real big one. We've had a lot of volcanic activity, though. That's how the Earth seems to be processing the last round of solar activity. And I think there's going to still be some big earthquakes, even though we haven't had any 7.0 7 plus for a really long time now, so we're due. Yeah, that's the whole planet though. So that's not such a big deal. But anyway, funny, they show me little puppies now. Maybe it's a little bit of a rebirth, or really stepping more into like that sense of innocence and trust and opening the heart more. But anyhow, do 3 cards. I'm seeing a yin yang symbol, so balance is key. Always knowing that we live in a very dualistic society, but within one extreme always exists the other, and vice versa, and all opposites are really one and the same. And a lot going on with the politics and all of that stuff, which I'll probably dive a little bit deeper into for the December psychic forecast. It could be a very big month for U.S. and global politics. And as I suspected, the energies are not quite as calm as they were last week going into this past week. You have Knights of Wands. That's a very movable, changeable, not the most stable energy. The Seven of Swords, it's reversed, and then the Three of Cups, which is a nice card, and it shows 3 parties coming together. So by later in the week, we may actually have some good news, whether that's around Russia, Ukraine. I'm seeing also something with finance or money. So there may be some getting together with different financial institutions or governments or whatever, and mapping out strategies to try to deal with the I don't know if you call it the coming recession or whatever is going on with the economy, or maybe it's already happening. But this is often about good energy for connecting in groups, like that. They're showing me the strength card also in my mind. So there's a lot of energy about overcoming things. And now I'm being shown a hammer. So I think there's a lot of effort going on either behind the scenes or, through the governments to really try to repair and fix things right now. Again, there's a lot of, diversity, a lot of chaos. I mean, I can see that in what's going on in the States, being an American, but it's really been messy in England and other areas also. A lot of crazy stuff. And then we had the National Guardsmen and woman, I guess, unfortunately she died, shot in DC, and then protests in DC, just like what we had forecast for this month. Is really starting to show up in other cities. In New York, in Manhattan, I think there's one Saturday, and there's a big impeachment rally. So the natives are definitely getting restless, and what follows on the heels of the terrible shooting that happened, it's almost like an excuse for this what would we call it, this ethnic cleanse or purge, from the perspective of whoever, not my perspective, but to cut to the chase, this could be used as an excuse to deport citizens of the United States that are from different countries, basically. They feel like Spirit is saying, no, it's not that it could be, it will be used for that. And I think we're seeing the writing on the wall already with a couple of things that came out after that. That's part of Project 25. Just to let you guys know that that's part of the agenda. And doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican. We have what we have in office right now, and we have things that are going on. So is this like a black swan event? If you guys have any comments on that, please let us know. Or like something that was planned, or one of these things was like, well, you could have seen that coming, even though if you didn't, that's going to, one event happens in order to fulfill a certain agenda, and sometimes they're orchestrated and people die. So the powers that be that control the government and want to control everything have shown little regard for human life and well-being. from where I'm sitting. That's just my opinion, based on what I know of the facts and what I feel intuitively. And I I would not be surprised if there was some orchestration of that event. I'll put it that way. And I mean, it could just be just terrorism, but I think that there might be more to that. What do you guys have to say? Uh, all right. Yeah, thank you, Karen. Yeah, I had a nice Thanksgiving. Yeah. All right. I'm just saying, if you know, who has comments on that? It's definitely all agenda, all the movements in the last 6 years or so. There will also be another T attack here. I don't know if that's Trump, if you're saying, or exactly what a T attack is. Um, and also Mary saying a lot of pattern recognition, lots of programming, lots of extreme. New York City, it's particularly going to get worse. Unfortunately, I agree with that, and I think we're starting to see signs of that also. So anyway, let me see what else. See, this feels very volcanic to me. It's fire and fire, Knight of Wands or rods. Knights are fire, wands are fire. This feels very much about weather events, extreme weather. Swords is air, but also earthquake activity. So the earth is getting ready or starting to do something. It's almost like part of the cleanse and purge that's happening energetically with the planet, because she's living also. It's all energy. Everything has a consciousness, has a frequency, has a has a signature. And but again, the Three of Cups, this is later in the week. If we're doing this in progression, things can get a little bit messy, but then this could be better news. It's almost like different people coming together, different groups coming together, and really starting to be more friendly and address common problems. So I think I think it's a mixed bag this week, honestly, with what's going on in the world and politics and everything. It also looks like there could be meetings about changes in government, more people stepping down, lot of that kind of energy anyway. So let's see what else you guys saying. All right. So let me do some more, a couple other things here. My Native American deck. Oh, T stands for terror. Oh, terrorism. Yeah, well, yeah, that's probably true. Around UN, around Gracie Mansion, but anywhere really. Oh, it's not funny. They were showing me the Freedom Towers, which would make sense because that's where that's the old World Trade Center site. That would make sense also. All right. Oh, let's just pray for the best, right? All like resetting. Yeah, I know. That's why I try to be a little bit, not that I want to edit what I'm saying, but I don't, people just get really, really crazy, and that's true. Even so, most spiritual people, absolutely, yeah. You can't talk about, I'll mention something and I have to when I do psychic force, that I have to, and then I look back at the numbers, like I'll mention something about Donald Trump, and then about a dozen people leave at that point. It's like, I'm just a messenger. I'm not playing favorites or taking time. I'm just telling you what Spirit's giving me. But people get so triggered, and it's programming. And the thing is, whether it's politics or whatever it is, if something in your environment triggers you, there's something that you have to be aware of, right? And it happens to me too. I'm not holier than thou. So when it happens to me, based on my spiritual training and that I meditate daily, if I have the wherefore, I'll just observe how I'm reacting. And in that moment, thank you, Joe Dispenza. In that moment, I am watching the program in action. I'm not the program if I'm observing it in action. And from that perspective, then you can start to understand what the programming is, how you've been programmed, and how you can transcend that and change that to something healthier. Understanding also that the powers that be want us to be programmed. They want us to be triggered. And the way things work is that those that want to program us will try to anger, try to shock you. And it's one thing after another. This current cycle, that was all planned from 2020 to 2030 to basically take things over, starting with the pandemic. And you've probably noticed since then, it's one thing after another. When you have one calamity or one OMG moment, like, I can't believe he did this or they did that or whatever, and people are outraged and they're angry or whatever, then you start to get used to that over time, and boom, then the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. So they're trying to distract us. They're trying to keep us in this energy of being fearful, of being angry. So we lose our connection to spirit, lose our connection to our higher selves. And the end game is to basically make us program slaves, for lack of a better word, and to distract us from what is really going on. And as all this is happening, you might notice that things around artificial intelligence are starting to take over, that we're starting to see more about digital ID and things of that nature, and a lot of it. So it's a big distraction, and we have to stay in our hearts and not be distracted. Separation and control, yeah. We have to move in our circle the best we can, regardless who runs this little globe called Earth. Yeah. Good for you, Scotty. Good for you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I have to kind of at least keep abreast of the headlines. Grab a little more tea. And water. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna do my pull from the Native American deck. We got Chief of Pipes, which I think would be the King of Wands. We got the Knight of Wands here, or here. You can't see that. We got the Knight of Wands here. Then the Chief of Pipes here. And what's pipes? It's about peace. So it's about moving towards peace, finding that inner peace. With all this crazy stuff that's going on, there is. People want peace right now, and I think that's sort of a prevalent energy amongst the collective. Is like people want peace, and I think what's going on is that we'll use Russia and Ukraine as an example. I think that they're just so tired of people dying and people getting bombed, and that that they're finally trying to negotiate. And it looks like Ukraine makes a lot of provision in order to fulfill any kind of a peace treaty. But then again, we don't know the backstory or the history of disputed land or whatever. We don't know if somewhere down the line, if Ukraine actually obtained land from Russia and then the news covered it up. We only hear the perspective of one side of the story, which is often the case. You don't hear the full story. So I think what they're trying to say is not to be too judgmental about what's going on, 'cause it's very easy to take sides. And again, we're programmed to think a certain way and to see one ideology is bad and one ideology as good. But the lines between good and evil are very muddled, and they shift and change, and both can exist simultaneously. I think that's that's a big thing to know. Yeah, it is like a bad movie, right? Politics over my head. I don't have much interest. Completely boring, like the worst C movie rating. I saw you boy. Holy Millie. Okay. And I went to a bunch of the group when one started freaking out over some politics. I had to push my plate away. The energy was awful. I then calmly asked what was her loss versus her imagined loss. I'll bet that went over really good, right? Things. That one I won't post that one about picking a certain part of your body. But anyway, all right. So anyway, but that's what Keep of Pipes is about: peace, and finding inner peace is where peace starts on the outside. We can only do what we can for ourselves. We can't do for others. So that's where we start, right? Anyway, let me do a couple more. I just happen to have the Isis Oracle deck handy, so we'll pull that. Hello, Revelations of the Gods. Welcome. That's okay, Scotty. It was funny. Yeah, the thing is, I just don't see. I mean, obviously, different countries are different, and there's places that one can move that's better than the U.S. I just don't see it being separate. I think that it's a global issue. Yeah, I understand that perspective. Being an American, thinking many times, should I move out of the country? Better, like smart people do. Yeah. Hi. What are you saying? Actually, it's silencer. And the thing is that silencer. Yeah, that is the thing. People are allowing others to go off the deep end, and they are shocked when you call them out. Well, good. Yes. Some countries are more sovereign than others. I get that. I just don't feel like, even being in another country, I don't feel like energetically we escape what's going on in the world. I think it affects us, and it's kind of like, I do, I'm a pretty happy person, one of the happiest people I've ever known, to be honest. Not that I don't have problems, I do. It's not, life's not easy, but I'm happy. But sometimes I just feel, because when we're empathic people, it's like, it's hard to feel happy when so many people are sad, if that makes sense. It's like, but I get what you're saying. And, I've thought about it a few times. So anyhow, but on that note, since I think you're new for us, if you have any ideas, revelation of God's, of places that are sovereign that you'd recommend. This is like our Sunday morning tarot time is more of like a community exchange also. Feel free to share with it. I mean, I have a couple of ideas. The moon, Mars, Antarctica. No, just kidding. Anyway, this is the Isis Oracle deck, so I'm going to get another message. Finland. I was thinking, Scandinavian countries. Well, I heard sometimes I look at Switzerland, but I've heard that it's not always peachy keen in Switzerland. But yeah, Finland. Good, thank you. So Finland is one area. Sufi country. So I think there's more than one country that practice Sufism, right? But thanks for the suggestions and everything. Hands are so freaking dry. It's sometimes hard to pull these cards out. All right. We got this is interesting. The restored. So this is one we haven't pulled yet on Tarot Time. Isis, yes, Josh, the Isis Oracle. I remember you gifted these a couple years ago. The restored priestess of the phoenix, and this looks like some kind of a wing being. Part bat. Those look like bat wings, right? But that's the message, the restored. So I think Spirit's trying to tell us this is a good time for personal restoration, get our rest. We're coming to a very energetic full moon. It's full moon in Gemini, so there's 2 full moons. That means, right? It's the sign of the twins. So there's a dark moon and a light moon when the full moon's in Gemini, and at 13 degrees, that's a very energetic degree point of the sign Gemini. It's about transformation. 13 is the number of death, which is not physical death, it's transformation. Yes. Holy Spirit. I used to live in Greene County. I live in Ulster County now. Greene County is probably the most corrupt county in New York State. At least it seemed that way when I lived there. And I used to work for a judge at a restaurant, and you get him drunk enough, he'd laugh about taking bribes and stuff. Like, okay, very good. Back in the good old days when I used to work up in the mountaintop, the crazy people. Good old days, yeah. Near Hunter Mountain. So anyway, restore. Time to restore, basically. Let's see what else. What time is it? Also, yeah, we're gonna do a energy. I want to do my medicine card if I have them. I may not have. Oh, I do. Okay. I have the book too. So let's do. I like the animal totems. Let's do the medicine card. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like comparing apples with oranges, right? It just popped right out of the deck, so we're going with this one. She's like, poop! The wolf. Wolf's the trailblazer, the teachers for the Native Americans. I believe wolf stands at the north of the medicine wheel, but if anybody knows the medicine wheel teachings better than me and I'm incorrect, please let us know. But I believe the wolf is at the north, which is the place of teaching. It's the place of, the north in the United States. The medicine cards are Native American tradition. Of the Native American tradition, the sun never shines in the north. East and sunrise, south and midday, west and sunset, never in the north. So it's the place of the hidden, the mysteries, the dark, the unseen forces, basically. So the wolves are the teachers. They lead us and guide us. And Canis lupus, right? And through wolves, we have domesticated dogs also. So and wolves are very friendly. I was fortunate enough to meet a wolf semi in the wild. It kind of came to my house. I don't know what it wanted. I think it wanted to let me know that it was one of my totem animals. This was about 6 or 7 years ago. I haven't seen a wolf since. Seen coyotes and coy dogs and all that, but that was the only time in the Catskills I saw a full-blooded wolf, and I didn't know there were wolves in the Catskills, and there weren't until 2010. Apparently they did release a handful of Alaskan gray wolves, because the settlers decimated the eastern gray wolf population here in the Catskills because the settlers did not know how to live in harmony with nature. And therefore, because the wolves would feed on the chickens and so forth and so on, they just killed the wolves. So the native people wanted to teach us how to live in harmony with nature. And that starts with living in harmony with ourselves. And what's the great harmonizer is our heart. So if we can really tap into the heart frequency, I recommend everybody do heart brain coherence. I've got a playlist on the channel. Heart chakra work or chakra work in general, focusing on the heart. All that kind of stuff can bring you back into that harmony and balance and teach you how to be in harmony with nature, not at odds with it. So, so that's a wolf story. And at first I thought it was a husky until it came close and I noticed there's no collar. The fur was matted. It's February. He's well fed. So I think it was a straight from his pack. I was feeding on small game in the neighborhood, honestly, but whatever. That was a wolf. And here's a wolf for you also. So you are teachers, and it's time. People need to learn. They need to learn the wisdom of the old ways and blend them with the new ways. Technology doesn't have to be the enemy, but I was talking before about all the stress that they want to keep us upset, angry, fighting each other. That's part of the mass programming. If we get used to one thing going on, they'll hit us with something else. And meanwhile, behind the scenes, that they're doing more with the technology. Look at the children, right? Children are on those computers all the time, and these have waves and frequency, and I can't verify this because anything that you see on the internet or YouTube is not verified because people make stuff up. But I think that this is true, that there are studies that are showing how the technology and the children being on the computer so much is changing their brainwave patterns. And I think that's really what they want, because you get it kind of atrophies certain parts of the brain and the mind. And we had the pandemic, and then all of a sudden, the children had to learn online. They had to get more into the computers, learn more through computers, and it became more and more that. But it has certain frequencies that it emits. Plus, there's through just standard programming, through advertising, through the media and whatnot, getting all that programming and molding their young minds. So if you have children, make sure there's balance. Get them out into nature. Have them dig in the dirt. Or this time of year, if you're in the northern part of the country, play in the snow. Have that balance so that their brains develop the way that they're supposed to, not get waylaid by too much technology and stuff like that. And people don't even know what's going on because they're so distracted by politics. And Donald Trump said what, and then everybody's fighting each other and having these wars on social media, totally distracted. And meanwhile, it continues, and it's a form of control. It's a form of slavery, really, is what it is, in my estimation. Wolves don't have blue eyes either. I think the wolf I saw didn't have blue eyes. It looked like a husky. Oh, I see what you're saying. I said it looked like a husky. Yeah. It didn't have the eyes of a husky. It had those long legs, right? The wolves have. It was bigger than a husky. But when it came out of the woods, that's what I thought it was. And I thought it was a stray dog until I realized it was a wolf. And I didn't know that wolves were in the Catskills. And one of my clients came to my office, who's worked for the DEP. I showed him the picture because I got a photo of him. He said, "Yep, that's a wolf," and then told me that they released a small amount of wolves into the Catskills. I think it's 2010, maybe 2014. So anyway, excuse me. Let me just do quickly. We're going to do a little mini process in a second. Let me do quickly the frequency of the week, the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck. I think also we're going to see a lot more news about extraterrestrials and certain patterns in outer space and on the earth or whatever. Almost like crop circles, but and somehow in our technology, I don't know what that is, but I'm being shown that there's they're communicating in different ways and letting us know in different ways. And Spirit's also showing me an owl. So owls are the night eagles in some Native American traditions, where it helps us to navigate the night or the hidden, and that can be very much of the north. And we're coming to the season of the north. In meteorological terms, December 1st is the beginning of winter. Anyway, magic. I like that. 31. Key 31 is magic. And what it says is the frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. And belief is so powerful. And we lost the belief in magic. And when I had my initial awakening, which is really more of a shaking, it's like, wake up. It wasn't really like a full-on spiritual awakening. That was in 1978. And the first thing that came, I was in college, and I had my and it happened when I was riding my bicycle. It was really weird. It was a flash of light. Oops. Hold on a second, guys. We seem to have lost the video. Still, I still don't have the video. I don't know why this is doing that. Yeah, when I'm talking about magic of all things, it's got to do that. Really? Camera. FaceTime. HD camera built in. All right, but you're not letting me do that. I'm not letting me do the built-in camera thing. There's another way of doing it. Oh, here we go. Let's try it this way. Right back to iPhone camera. Oh my goodness. Huh. There. Oh. Oh, okay. I got the picture back. All right. Yep, I've got the camera that I want. So anyway, that's what this looks like. Showing me some magic. Yeah, exactly. And welcome, Zena. Um, there's your magic. I'm back. Yep. There I am. The magic of that. So you can gaze into the center, absorb the energy of magic, and so I had that process. The first thing that came to my mind, everything I've learned is alive, need to learn the truth. And then they're just having weird psychic things, like I'd be reading people's minds, and it started to fade in a month or two, but that was like my first introduction to energy. And I realized that's when I realized we really do manifest our reality. And I was only 19 at the time. I didn't know anything about law of attraction or anything, and how and I really got that memo. But then, of course, it was just the opening of the door. It takes a lot of dedication in order to have a true awakening. So it was more like a glimpse that I had at that time, and it kind of set me on my spiritual path. And now we are 67. I can't even do the math. Almost 40 years later, almost 50 years later. Wait a second. Almost 50 years later. I'm 67 now. Wow. How did that happen? Anyway, let's do a process, guys. Gotta love the technology. Exactly. Yeah. So let's do a little guided meditation. So based on the information that came out today, we're going to do something to really kind of get us very grounded, very strong in our frame, get our auric fields very strong. And that way, maybe we'll even do a Merkaba activation, because that way we can glide through all these changes that are going on and all the program that's attempting to freak us all out to separate us from our higher selves and our awakening and all that kind of stuff. That'll help prevent that. So let's nice and relaxed. For anybody that's new, I do a form of channeling. It's more likely that these are interdimensional beings. I call them master teachers, and it's kind of a blending of energies. So they kind of work with my fields. We sort of blend energetically rather than like spirit or entity coming through me, talking through me. We're sort of working together, if that makes sense. But what they do is they affect my energetic fields, and as I'm leading the process, they're able to work with your higher self to upgrade your energies and decrease the flows and frequencies of your energy. So if you relax and stay present, you might feel it. That's what I'm trying to say. So just get nice and relaxed. And just feel your shoulders relaxing for a moment. And your chin and cheeks. And forehead relaxing. You just feel yourself going deeper into relaxation. Feeling the inhales and exhales. Being present with every phase of your breath. At the inhale, noticing when your lungs are filled. Hold, and the exhale. In the phase where your lungs are empty. And getting deeper and deeper relaxed. Open. Greetings, dear spiritual warriors and travelers of time and space, for you know that you are interdimensional beings that have a certain, we shall say, level of focus or attention in one reality of a possible infinite, because this is where you are meant to be and meant to grow from at this time. So we come through this channel at this time to give you blessings of love, of ascension, to assist you in opening your heart and to assist you in creating strong fields around you in order to resist all the changes, all the stress from the programming machine added to the stress on your physical vehicles of the higher frequencies that are affecting your planet and your energy fields at this time. So getting very grounded and strong in your frame is how you are able to process the new information, how you're able to deal with the higher stress levels of your world, and to keep a big smile on your face, knowing that even though things can be rough and tough, that you understand that you're ascending to a higher level and a higher place, closer to God's spirit or source at this time. So just take a moment just to feel your beautiful beating hearts, which are intelligent, that have brain cells in the heart, because your science validated in 1991, or is it 1992? We draw on the channels, vast reservoir of information, things he does not even know, to bring information through to you. Or he does not know that he knows. Is that the way of putting this? Including language. Yes, including language. We are interdimensional beings. Speak through frequencies of light. And we will do a little bit of light language and toning for you. At this time, feeling grounded in your heart. Beautiful beating hearts, feeling grateful, compassionate, and loving. Tap you into the master frequency. All your physical reality is born, is processed, and transmuted through the energy of gratitude, the energy of compassion. These are attributes, these are things that you become aware of, feelings, as it were, expressions of heart, as it were, when you receive. And who's the ultimate giver? God, Source. Feel grateful, and you automatically tune into the higher vibrations of the Creator. Yes, 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 it really is that simple, dear ones. It really, really is. And your heart is everywhere. It's not just in your chest. Place your heart in your root, the base of your spine. Feel grateful at your root. Feel grounded. Feel roots extending from your root deep into the earth. Feel your heart in Mother Earth. In the language that we know through this channel, which is English, heart and earth have the same letters. The earth heart, the heart earth. Feel the earth beating. Feel the earth feeling grateful. Grateful for you, dear ones. You're the steward. You're the expressions of the life of the planet that created you, that you dwell on, that you return to, at least your body returns to, when it is time to transcend the physical and rejoin the higher earth, or the inner earth, or the sublime earth, as it were, which is the realm of spirit. Heaven, you could call it that too. What's in a name? By any other name. A rose smells as sweet. Heaven is just as beautiful. Call it nirvana, call it what you like. Feeling grounded. And as you ground, as your roots get grounded and your heart expands and opens, you create stronger fields around you that the programming can't get through so easily, that the stresses can't affect you as much. And by doing so, you don't lose your sensitivity. In fact, you increase it. Yes, yes, I know. You can have a drink, smoke a doobie, take a pill, and you don't feel the stress anymore. You feel happy. But that, of course, is the illusion. For the truth is in the heart, the earth-heart connection. You develop that connection, you develop that strength of heart, that connection to earth, that building of your auric fields. That will not leave when the drug wears off. That is permanent. That is something you own, something that you are symbiotic with, your own energetic fields, your own higher bodies, all resonant with the heart frequency on many different levels, Relax, breathe aloud, feel grateful, feel that gratitude surrounding your physical being. Visualizing the Merkaba, the star tetrahedron, intrinsic within your auric field, spinning, upper three-sided pyramid, spinning one direction, bottom spinning the other, creating a frequency, creating an energy. We shouldn't say creating a frequency, for a frequency just exists, right? Creating a connection to a certain frequency that's available to you. We like to get the words correct. As we raise the frequencies, raise the velocities of energies, assisting you through your intentions, creating higher frequencies of energy moving through you, which is just shorter wavelengths, but it also relates to higher consciousness, as it were, higher energies of truth, raising the frequencies. Relax, allow. We will do little toning. Heal that Merkaba spinning. That's your ascension light vehicle. As activated, you can travel anywhere, because everywhere and anywhere is part of who you are. There's no separation. Relax, breathe, be grounded, feel your frame strong. We will augment your intentions with you at this time. Etya sosisya patse totapatum shaka Vasutapadadetu Siriada Sepulcro Vayang Niditio Babatete Tiato Wako Tete Mama Hio Nonodoto Sheshe Wapako Tetano Wako Cheta Chaka Tete Koko Tatamako Shoto Tiata Yaka Haya Mama no yo no no yo mama yo raising the frequencies. Feel your roots deep, feel your heart open and expanded, feel your crown also rooted to the cosmos above, within, and below, rooted in all three access spiritual points. We will leave you with this thought. We keep the frequencies high, feel grounded, feel complete. You are safe, you are protected. You are solid. And you are the present moment. You are the connection to all things. Time, moves in waves. It's energy also of a different order. Sometimes time's quicker, sometimes time's slower. But the present moment is always stable and now, no matter what's happening in time. Stay locked into the present. You move through the different timelines, time energies, the good times, the bad times. It's all transient aspects of experience. It's a portal of divine consciousness, which is what you truly are in a human form. Feel grounded, feel centered. Be aware of the center of the earth, glowing bright, molten iron crystal. You can access spirit through the earth center. Also be aware of the center of the universe. You go back in time trillions, maybe trillions of years, you find the center of the universe, the origins, and the center of your own being, your own heart, deep within. All these are access points of higher realities. The 3 in 1, the 1 in 3. The center of the earth, the heart of the earth, the heart of the universe, or the heart of your own being. When you seek spirit, seek the heart. That's where you will find her. Feel grounding the energies. Feel your root, sacral, and solar plexus connecting in your lower triangle firmly in the earth. Heart open and expanded, and upper triangle firmly rooted in the cosmos. Knowing that you are the standard between the worlds, realities, the portal, as it were. We are complete. So we're grounding the energies now. Take a couple deep breaths. Feel your roots deep into the earth. In the base of your auric egg or field, just imagine there's an opening in your tailpipe that releases any stagnant energy also, but excess energy, let that release. Static, that's the word I'm looking for. Staticky energy. Deepen your breath. When you're ready, open your eyes. And tomorrow at 7, we're going to do our December psychic forecast. That's what we're going to do. So we'll talk a bit about the numerology, the astrology, certain choice. Well, when I say choice center prediction, it's like a collective choice, right? But what predictions that I have and all that kind of stuff. You just have to block bad energy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at your comments. America, we wear flowers or weeds. Hi, Melwood. Just somebody this is from Hasmail who would read to me if I woke up in the middle of the night. That's beautiful. Later, I wondered how he never woke anyone with his voice, and I figured it must have been telepath. Very nice. Yeah, I like Fredonia too in Western New York. Are very nice. Yeah, and the home of Lucille Ball. We're talking about Jamestown. Yeah. But, all right. Anyway, just breathe, guys. Yeah, that it's all good. It's all good. Thank you, everybody. End of the 9-year, and then we go into the 1 year. Yeah, so that's part of it. It's a 3 universal month, so that's part of it also. And we'll get into all that tomorrow. The chat has been quiet. Yeah. Well, so we've had a few interesting visitors today, have we not? So lots of love to you guys. Thank you, and we'll see you if you come on live tomorrow at 7. We'll see you then. If not, we'll see you next time. Love you. Thanks for being here, and have a beautiful rest of your Sunday.